Professor Hussein Bakci, professor at the Middle East Technical University in Ankara from Turkey. John Rossomando is a journalist and well known geopolitical expert from Washington, D.C. Sierra Claire, foreign policy expert from Los Angeles. James Marlowe, senior journalist from London. And Saurabh Shukla, founder of News Mobile from Washington, D.C. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a great panel and equally balanced. So, the Trump establishment, are these latest visuals? The Americans are projecting Karg to be the one battle which will sort it all out for them. I get an increasing feeling. I get a feeling, Sierra, they need an exit. And they're going to project Karg and say, we have irretrievably finished off Iran. We've taken away 90% of their oil export capability. Now we can move on. If NATO and the rest of the world wants to get it, they can. Otherwise, we're out of here. Can he do that? Sierra?
Well, President Trump has said that we could leave right now and it would still be a victory. However, he said we are committed to finishing the job. And what does he mean by that? He means that we are not going to leave Iran to rebuild nuclear weapons. With whatever regime comes into place, that is their, the certain elements of the regime, that is their goal. They just keep on trying to rebuild it, and we keep on coming in, and Israel as well, with a military response to it. And Trump wants to end that cycle. So that's what he means when he says finish the job. Also, just to go back to a point, where did the nuclear issue come from, or the concern come from? That was confirmed by the IAEA. And Steve Witkoff as well, but multiple sources confirming that that's what Iran was doing, and they were very close to doing it. So it's really a concern for the United States. It's a national security concern.
Yet the Pentagon, Sierra, briefed the Congress the day after the strikes, and it was reported everywhere, including the Times of Israel, that the American government had no intelligence that Iran was planning a preemptive strike.
Well,
that's a fact. And this is what was placed on record by the Pentagon, briefing the Congress a day after the strikes, that the US had no intelligence that Iran was planning a preemptive strike. I'm not going by what Iran told the US ambassador, that it was a stupid decision. I'm not talking about what the Omanian foreign minister said. He was dismayed that negotiations were taken undermined.
Well, we're not waiting around.
I'm not talking about what retired U.S. Army Colonel Lawrence Wilkerson, former Chief of Staff to Secretary of State Colin Powell, said, that Trump has completely misinterpreted the war.
Well, but we're not waiting around for a preemptive strike from Iran. The intel was that the Iranians had 60% enriched uranium. They were getting closer and closer to being able to convert that into weapons grade, and then also attach it to a nuclear warhead.
But you were not going to take their word for it. Then why were you talking to them? Why were there discussions going on till the very day before Khomeini was killed? I don't want to go back because I want to look ahead, but I still haven't got a clear answer.
Well, why were we talking to them? Because President Trump always tries peace and dialogue and negotiations first. Even if there's, the smallest hope, he wants to try that first.
Okay, viewers, that's actually at the Kennedy Center. It's a lunch reception. We're seeing full frame. We're seeing Trump come in. Sort of, you're seeing this. What is he likely to say? I don't know if we're getting an audio. Do we have an audio?
Yeah. Arnab, so this is the Kennedy Center Board of Trustees meeting. He will talk about the war as well. What he wants is a coalition of.
Do we agree?
That's what is
right,
the key coming out.
No
to the
question.
White
Let's hear.
Thank you very much for being here. Appreciate it. And we'll maybe discuss a couple of general topics. This is a board meeting for the Trump Kennedy Center, but we'll go into a couple of other things that we have the media present. It's always present, unfortunately, constantly. And I'll say a few words about what's happening in the Middle East. And if you have a couple of questions, we'll do that, and then we'll get on with our board meeting. So thank you very much for being here. We have a wonderful group of very, very smart, talented patriots at this table. Our powerful military campaign to end the threats posed by the Iranian regime continued in full force over the past few days. They have been literally obliterated. The Air Force is gone. The Navy is gone. Many, many ships have been sunk. They're warfighting ships, but I guess they didn't know how to use them. And anti-aircraft is decimated. Their radar is gone, and their leaders are gone. Other than that, they're doing quite well. They've been a terror for 47 years. And now, I guess, the world, through the United States, with the help of Israel, is doing what should have been done many years ago. Should have been done many years ago. Since the beginning of the conflict, we've struck more than 7,000 targets across Iran. And these have been mostly commercial and military targets. We've achieved a 90% reduction in their ballistic missile launches and a 95% reduction in drone attacks. The missiles are trickling in now at very low levels because they don't have too many missiles left. We've also attacked the manufacturing plants, where the places where they manufacture the missiles and the drones. And that's going on today. We just hit 3 of them today. And it's getting very hard for them to manufacture. More than 100 Iranian naval vessels have been sunk or destroyed over the last week and a half. That has to be some kind of a record. Additional strikes continue to launch from all directions every single hour. As you know, we attacked Carg Island and knocked it literally, destroyed everything on the island except for the area where the oil is. I call it the pipes. We left the pipes. We didn't want to do that, but that we will do that. We can do that on 5 minutes notice. It'll be over. But for purposes of someday rebuilding that country, I guess we did the right thing. But it may not stay that way. Just one simple word and the pipes will be gone too, but it'll take a long time to rebuild that. We are aggressively dismantling Iran's defense industrial base, and ability to rebuild its missiles and drone capability is getting down to close to zero. And we're hammering their capacity to threaten commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz, with more than 30 mine-laying ships destroyed. We hit, to the best of our knowledge, all of their mine-laying ships. Now they can put them on other types of ships, I guess, and drop them in. But we don't know that any have even been dropped in. We're not sure that any have been. That's a big negative for them if they do it. It's a form of suicide. But we don't know that they have dropped any in. But we've hit all 30 of their ships and destroyed them. They're all at the bottom of the sea. We strongly encourage other nations whose economies depend on the Strait far more than ours. You know, we get less than 1% of our oil from the Strait, and some countries get much more. Japan gets 95%. China gets 90%. Many of the Europeans get quite a bit. South Korea gets 35%. So we want them to come and help us with the Strait. We have it in very good shape. The countries, I said, we've already taken care of Iran, but now, because of the fact that literally a single terrorist can put something in the water or shoot something or shoot a missile, small missile, and it's fairly close range because it is a tight area, and which is one of the reasons they've always used that as a weapon. Iran has always used that as an economic weapon, and it's not going to be able to be used very long. Numerous countries have told me they're on the way. Some are very enthusiastic about it, and some aren't. Some are countries that we've helped for many, many years. We've protected them from horrible outside sources, and they weren't that enthusiastic. And the level of enthusiasm It matters to me. We have some countries where we have 45,000 soldiers, great soldiers, protecting them from harm's way. And we have done a great job. And when we want to know, do you have any minesweepers? Well, would rather not get involved, sir. I said, for 40 years we're protecting you, and you don't want to get involved in something that is very minor. Very few shots going to be taken because they don't have many shots left. But they said, we'd rather not get involved. I just want the fake news media and everybody else to remember that that was said, because when I've been a big critic of all of the protecting of countries, because I know that we'll protect them. And if we ever needed help, they won't be there for us. I've just known that for a long period of time, just like I knew about the Strait, that it would be a weapon, which I predicted a long time ago, predicted all of this stuff. You guys were very generous in that. I predicted all of it. I predicted Osama bin Laden would knock out the World Trade Center. I made that prediction a year before he did. I said, you better get him. He's a bad guy. I watched him be interviewed one time, and I said, that's a bad guy. You better get him. 1 year before, exactly. I wrote it in a book. You can even check about a year before the World Trade Center then came down. President Clinton actually had a shot at him, and he didn't take it. Unfortunately, I'm not blaming him for that, but he didn't take it. And he ended up knocking down the World Trade Center, but I predicted that. I predicted a lot of things. We strongly encourage other nations whose economies depend on the Strait for blood. I mean, these people literally need it. 95% of their energy or their oil comes out of the Strait, and they should be in here very happily helping us. And it's incredible. We have such great. We're number one in oil by double. We drill, baby, drill. We're double any other nation, and it's going to be soon triple any other nation. And that doesn't include Venezuela, who's been great. By the way, the relationship with Venezuela has been fantastic. Millions, literally millions of barrels of oil are being taken out, and it's been a great help, and it's been to their great benefit. The president has done a really good job. We get along with him really well, but we've taken out millions of barrels of oil and brought to Houston and other places to the refineries. We have refineries set up specifically for that, and it's been a great relationship, and more and more is happening. It's a tremendous oil source, and